The lead was then picked up by Aslam and Imran Khan in a Porsche 911, which ran faultlessly throughout the event, its engine note so reminiscent of the past. On the final stage, they thought they'd won, but were pipped at the post and had to accept second. The win went to Rob Hellier and Sam Jethwa driving a Datsun 160J, which must have thousands of safari kilometers on the clock. Following a puncture, they'd been trailing in third, but with Soman dropping out and by making a final push, they crossed the finish line 90 seconds ahead of the Porsche. Aslam Khan had done enough to retain the lead for the Classic Car Cup title, 50 points ahead of his niece Samira, and after only one outing, Rob Hellier dislodges Jonathan Soman for third. Equally as old were the 17 cars competing in the two-wheel drive category, where the competition was every bit as intense as in the Group N race. We're on board with Victor Okundi and Tuta Mionki, driving a Toyota Vitz, who caught the car ahead, but before they could overtake, they were both dragged into a ditch. It took 10 minutes to get out, but it was the only mishap they had, and went on to finish, albeit last. All the two-wheel drives had been caught up in the flash flood and only faced the 87-kilometer stage once. This was a blessing for Patrick Ibarra and Julius Mwachuya, whose Levine was at a disadvantage on this section. They lost 13 minutes on the stage, dropping them from 4th to 8th. Looking back in time, VWs have been a major feature in the safari, and we especially draw your attention to this one, driven by Sabi Rai and Supi Soin, which they rolled in the 1989 event. Over the years, the car has changed hands, and during its illustrious past has won the two-wheel drive championship twice, in the hands of Deep Chana in 2005, and then Jasmine Chana 2 years later. It has since returned to its original stable and to its original colors, and was being driven by Sabi's son Rajbir Rai, with Supi Soin returning to the navigator's seat after 23 years.
Hey, boss!
The car was as reliable as ever, even fastest through stage 5, taking the rewards for 4th overall. Attempting to repeat their win in the category of last year were Jagjit Lidar and Pinal Patel from Uganda. They were running with a borrowed standard engine, which had only been installed the night before the rally. It never missed a beat, and whilst they didn't repeat the victory, were more than pleased with third. James Karimi and Kimeli Korea could not have pushed their golf any harder in a bid to take the category win.
So yeah, it's tough. Yeah. The roads are also not forgiving. It's quite rocky. We expect the 86 kilometers to be a test of man, machine, and everything else.
They held second throughout the event, and although they won the final stage by over a minute, they remained in second to the end. The race for the honours was never really in doubt, as a little Daihatsu Dudu driven by Adnan Suhail and Absalom Aswani took command right from the start. They won 3 of the 5 stages, carefully gauging how hard they needed to push to stay in front, and took the win by 2.5 minutes. On the championship board, Nadeem Khanna retained the lead, but James Karimi closes to within 55 points, moving up from 5th to 2nd. This was Adnan Suhail's first rally of the season, and the win puts him on the board in 6th. The event also included a category for non-homologated cars and SPVs, which were competing in the supplementary class. There were many who surprised the pundits, including Hussein Malik and Stephen Jenga, who stormed through the stages, restricted only by the car's power, and after doing what they could, came 4th in the group. Amongst the favourites were Jasmine Chana and Rohit Budia, the current leaders of the Group S Championship. They were lying 3rd when they broke a tie rod end on the final stage, and the 25 minutes loss dropped them down to 11th. Making a return to the sport after a long break were the ladies' luck team of Michelle Van Tongeren and Safina Khan, who were the last to win the Coup de Dames trophy back in 2003. They settled back in quickly, adapting to the changes, and although uncomfortable with the hot conditions, drove through the pack to eventually clinch a well-deserved third in the class.
Yeah, it's amazing, but it's totally different because now we're having to wear these suits, these hands kit, the helmets. So it is very hot. Literally, my glasses, I had to take it off because they were steaming. That's how hot it got.
Jaswinder and Ravi Chana and the other GT4 paced their event in keeping with the endurance nature of the rally. They settled into second place right from the start, gauging their pace to stay ahead of the car behind, but not able to do anything about the car ahead.
The first two stages we just drove on a sensible pace just to keep the momentum going, and now this morning we caught up 2.5 minutes on our yesterday's time. So it's getting better and better. Just want to go and see how the long section is now.
They stayed in second to the end, and the points gained moved them to the top of the Group S championship. We're on board with Simon Sharp and Crispin Kennedy in a home-built special, deciding at this point to abandon the route when they realized they weren't going to make it around the bend. They were in a class of their own, faster through all but one of the stages, and by the end took the supplementary class honors by over 15 minutes.
No, it's good. It's going well. I mean, we're very happy with it and enjoying it a lot. And yeah, I mean, I'm very happy with the car. Obviously, it's it's doing well in the countries. It's doing well in the rallying scene. So no, I'm chuffed. It's going well. I think we finally got it, hopefully, pretty well sorted. So it's as fast as I'm going to go anyway. So